Why does personal growth so often come with anxiety, loneliness, self-doubt, and emotional instability? Have you ever noticed that the harder you try to improve your life, the less emotionally stable you seem to feel? You are doing the right things. You are learning, changing, and trying to become better. But instead of feeling stronger, you become more anxious, irritable, and exhausted. Eventually, you begin to wonder, is something wrong with me? But growth itself can create emotional discomfort. Real progress is not a smooth upward line. It repeatedly breaks your old psychological balance and forces you to build a new one. And every time that balance is disturbed, friction follows. You may have experienced a period when everyone around you thought you were doing well. From the outside, you were moving forward. You were becoming more aware, more capable, and more clear-minded. But only you knew how emotionally difficult that period really was. You started questioning the person you used to be. You felt strangely low. You realized that certain parts of your old life could never return. It may have looked like a breakdown, but sometimes it was closer to a psychological transformation. Growth often produces difficulty emotions because you are doing something your mind naturally resists. You are leaving what is familiar, and the unknown creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates a loss of control, and that loss of control creates anxiety. You may also begin to doubt your ability. When you attempt things you have never done before, you will naturally encounter more failure and frustration than you would by staying where you are. So you begin to think, maybe I am not capable. But frequent difficulty does not always mean you are incompetent. Sometimes it means you are finally testing the limits of your current ability. As your awareness grows, you also begin to see the limitations of your former self more clearly, and clarity does not always feel peaceful. At first, it can feel lonely. It can even feel empty. You may enter a period when very few people understand what is happening inside you. Some parts of transformation can only be completed alone. So the goal is not to eliminate every uncomfortable emotion. The goal is to understand what it is telling you. Emotion is not always a malfunction. Anxiety may mean you are moving beyond an old boundary. Confusion may mean you are entering territory you have never explored. Loneliness does not always mean that no one cares about you. Sometimes it simply means you are walking a path that fewer people choose. You also need to give yourself permission to make mistakes. Progress is never perfectly linear. There will be days when you want to stop, withdraw, or do nothing. That does not automatically mean you are moving backward. Your mind may simply be recovering. Leave some empty space in your life. Give your brain time to process what is changing. You do not need to become a new version of yourself every single day. You only need to avoid abandoning the path completely. Instead of constantly asking, how far do I still have to go? Ask, how far have I already come? People who care deeply about growth are often crushed by the person they believe they must become in the future. But progress is not only found in dramatic achievements. Maybe you speak more honestly than you used to. Maybe you now understand what you no longer want. Maybe you recover from setbacks slightly faster. These are real changes. Growth is often an ongoing negotiation with anxiety, doubt, and uncertainty. Those emotions are not always evidence that you are failing. Sometimes they are evidence that something inside you is changing. When you learn to notice and understand them instead of immediately trying to destroy them, you begin moving in a healthier direction. So when the desire to improve creates emotional difficulty, do not ask only, how can I make this feeling disappear? Also ask, what is this feeling showing me? Awareness shapes behavior. Behavior shapes the life you build. The most dangerous thing is not having difficult emotions. It is never learning to see them, because seeing clearly is already a form of strength. Subscribe to Mind Traps. See people more clearly and understand yourself better.